Hey guys, I'm here with your car. Alright, overall it's in great shape. So a few things to note for the future. So our brake lines are starting to rust. This is really just surface rust right now, but we'll need regular inspections on these in the future just to make sure that we don't have any more serious rusting. Okay, and that's over the whole car. The coating has come off of the brake line, so they will rust from now on. You asked about the fuel tank. Fuel tank is plastic. There is a metal sending unit, which is the pump assembly that goes in the top of the tank. I can't see that, but if that starts to fail, you'll usually start with a gas smell, and it almost never leaves you stranded if it's a corrosion issue. Look at the rest of the car. Okay, so with the exhaust, we just did the muffler, which connects there and goes to the back. This center pipe has been done at some point. I don't know if I did it or somebody before me did it, but it's probably halfway through its life and it ends there. Then we've got our catalyst section. So the catalyst section is starting to let go. Somebody had to put it together with gasket maker, and as you can see there, the flanges are starting to rust. All the heat shields are rusting away on the catalytic converter. The fasteners are starting to rust. So eventually that pipe will have to be done. The manifold is not too bad. I wouldn't do it yet. Eventually it would have to be done, but it's not imminent. But this section of the exhaust won't fall off like the muffler did, because it's sitting on these hangers. So if this section let go, which is probably the first thing that's going to fail, this section would just hang. It won't drag on the ground, and then this section is bolted just up here. So it would just be loud, and then we couldn't service it then. If you want to replace it before then, we certainly can, but it's not going to leave you stranded on the side of the road. It would just be loud. Brake lines are starting to get rusty up here, but nothing imminent, nothing that's an immediate issue. The brake rotors, I don't know if you can see in there, just from sitting, they've got some rust on them, and that's why you're getting that chirping noise. Some regular use should get rid of that. The backing plates, that's these metal plates that just keep dust and dirt and water away from the brakes. They get rusty, and eventually sometimes they flake off. The metal will flake off of them and rub on the brakes and make a bit of noise, but it's not a safety concern. Eventually they rot, and we just rip them off and we don't replace them. That's usually the standard procedure. Okay, so this part here, this is your control arm. Okay, this is your ball joint, this joint right here, and these are your control arm bushings. So you see this little bit of rubber that's sitting up here? That's the bushing inside starting to separate from its metal shell. So when that happens, it's just because the rubber is dried out and the glue is separating. Usually you just need to replace those. And given the age of the arms, and that the ball joints are pretty old, the best thing to do would be to just replace the control arms. So they'll have to be done in the near future. This one's a little more separated than the others. And when they really let go, you'll get wandering. The front end will feel like it's not very precise, and you'll get some knocking noise in the front end. Other than that, everything else in the front end is tight. There's nothing that it's an immediate safety concern. Okay, so up here, these lines and these hard lines here, they go to your transmission cooler, which is that silver thing right there. It cools the transmission fluid, and it also sends it up to the radiator because there's another cooler mounted in there. So these lines transfer your transmission fluid. So this line right here, this is common on these cars. The line is starting to rub through at that holder, and the outer painted shell has worn off, and now it's rusting through. So eventually that line is going to have to be replaced because it's rusting and it's going to leak transmission fluid. So that's one that's going to probably need to be addressed inside the next year. But that's very common on these, as I said. Just going through my list here. The drive belt, it's kind of difficult to see, but on the back side of that drive belt, which runs your alternator and your water pump and your air conditioning compressor, on the other side of that, the belt is cracking. So when we see the cracking on the belt, that means it's time to replace it, because we don't want it to break on you, because that can leave you stuck on the side of the road. Other than that, everything looks pretty good. Tires are in good shape. There's life on the brakes. Your service is up to date. It's in much better shape than the average car at this age. There's nothing that says to me that you're going to get stuck on the side of the road anywhere. It just needs some regular TLC. I would probably adjust these control arms and do an alignment at the same time. It's up to you if you'd like to do the exhaust work prematurely before it fails. It will eventually, and replace that cooler line before it becomes an issue for you. The brake lines I would not deal with yet. They're nowhere near failure, what I can see anyways. But looks to me like you've got lots of life left in it, and just keep it undercoated and it should be good. Okay, thanks.